I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now, what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
Oh, give me fucking truth, baby. Come on. Let's go.
How have I been this successful in life?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We made it. It was a journey. But we made it. Another week of the MMA analysis. The intro is true again. Fatty's gonna fatty is very real.
Jesus.
Even when they're not fat. Or only half of them are fat. Yeah. There were fights last week. Apologies to the folks that were waiting very patiently. Rob was using up all of his dial-up internet in rural Ontario. We're not impacted by the Starlink stuff getting canceled here. We're still fine. You know, we had internet before Elon. We'll have it after him. And Richard, appreciate you guys. Let's get rolling here. Sean, how you doing? How was that adventure?
Oh man, it's always a struggle. Struggles of having a 14-month-old and struggles of just computers in general. It's a battle out there, but we're here now. We're here now to talk about recap some fights from last week that were all right, and go through this pay-per-view that's allegedly a pay-per-view. Wow.
Boxing.
Is there boxing this weekend? I mean,
It's a boxing pay-per-view.
It's a boxing card.
Oh God, yeah. I guess, kinda. I mean, at least the boxing fights at the top of the card are kind of interesting. You know what else?
Last weekend
right now.
My bad, go ahead.
Woof.
Ooh.
All the way down. I had to scroll down for a while. My fingers got tired, but Sean's holding up 85th. Good stuff. You know, can't compare to the rest of the podcast here.
No.
Podium. And Wes, how you doing? Still holding down that first place slot? And
Yeah, gave a little back.
Yeah.
Gave a little ground back, but we'll take the top spot a few cards in for sure. You know, I just want to hit the money one time. I'd be happy to hit the money.
Richard, did one of us actually bet on Umar?
That would be me. Me.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
I had the mushroom for these guys.
I'm pretty sure two of us bet on Marab.
Two of you guys bet on Marab.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't.
Guys, but
I wouldn't lump these guys in when I'm, up double digits on the year, first in the Tau Master, and I hit our boy Barcelos at plus 800. So we'll say,
and even with my terrible Umar bet and my bad Adesanya bet, I'm still up like 6+ units this year. So you don't fade me yet. It's also coming, not quite yet.
Consensus bets undefeated through.
I was just checking. Are we 3-0 to start the year? Oh, we didn't do one for the first card because it was terrible. So we're 2-0.
Undefeated through the entire month. 1-0 in months, 1-0 in lifetimes. That's all that matters.
Oh man, those were the days. Get my lifetime package, boys. My lifetime package.
How many years after that was a thing? Was he just like completely gone? Like 2, 3?
Well, I mean, there was like a couple years later, the man's out in Vegas with some kind of living with a whore or some shit, right? Some kind of
escort action.
Yeah, still paid for
restaurants everywhere. You know, just a worldly man from the basements of Minnesota.
Hasn't he been like putting together a streaming room for like 3 years now? He's gonna start pumping out the MMA content.
I think longer than you've been trying to put your computer together.
No. We were speaking of computers. I finally have a very functioning one, and they're already on a new fucking generation of graphics cards. That's how long it took for me to get my shit all finally working.
All right, we appreciate it. the dulcet tones with an amusing picture. It leaves something to the imagination for the listeners, you know?
I mean, it's no happy face Tito, but it's
we'll get it back. We'll get it back.
Good. Yes, sir.
Did you hear about Tito's Cantina or whatever it is was showing the pay-per-view, except the restaurant didn't open until like 4 hours after the pay-per-view ended, or not the pay-per-view, the card last week. They were talking about getting people in to watch it. Tito is the gift that just never stops.
Him doing the promo video and literally mispronouncing the last name of every single fighter. It was wasn't even close. That dude's amazing, man. Absolutely amazing.
Speaking of which, let us go through and mispronounce some names.
Yes.
And, break down these cards this card from last weekend. Main event. Imavov, the fake Russian, got Izzy. I think yikes for Izzy's chin that did him in because he was looking good up until that, but going to be hard to trust him moving forward. Sean?
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things. I mean we kind of even saw it with Anderson Silva a bit. He's got some there and he looked good. It's just when you're a reaction fighter and the reactions just start slowing down as you keep creeping up in age, and especially with the amount of fights that Izzy's had. Yeah, he got hit with a clean one. Like Izzy doesn't have a granite chin to begin with, but that was a clean one, and he didn't roll with that whatsoever. That was as clean as it gets. But yeah, kind of sad because Izzy had a great run there, but I don't know. There's not really much left for him, so I think he should just not take any more CTE and just call it a day.
Yeah, I will never be able to not refer to Imavov as the guy who couldn't knock out Phil Hoggs, like the only dude bad. Ever. Yeah. So the fact that even though it was a clean one, it did out Izzy in like that. Not
he's gotten way better though. Like I think he went down to MMA Masters and shit. And it's like he's gotten way better, but still you gotta at least hurt Philly. Like you gotta at least stun him. Yeah, man, Izzy's done. Like he's done. It's all like I wouldn't even compare it to Anderson Silva because Anderson Silva literally couldn't even throw anymore. Izzy looked fantastic offensively, like holy shit. But he made like one mistake again. It's the same mistake he made against DDP. He does switch stances in the pocket, and like Sean said, he's a reaction. Yeah, he's a reaction fighter. The reaction there ain't to get out of the way anymore. When he switches stance, guys see it. Like of course, Imavov broke that down and game plan for that because Izzy does it all the time in fights. He's very good at it because he had the reactions to get out of the way of that punch that was always coming back when he switched stance in the pocket. And even before, he could take them a little bit more when he made mistakes, man. The it's done. Like that was a clean shot, but like Sean said, he hasn't always had a granite chin. It's been decent though. Like we saw him take some shit in fights, but man, with that chin being done, the reaction time, and I'm with Sean too. Like you can't be Izzy and be like some gatekeeper stepping stone for like up and coming like top 5 guys and get like knocked the fuck out because you can't take shit fights against guys in the top 15 or something like that. You're gonna have to take bigger fights of guys on the cusp of title shots. Just save your legacy, man. Izzy's an all-timer. Already seeing some slander and shit. Like his title run and shit is like insane, man. This guy's belt run was crazy. He had like some insane wins, man. So I don't like the Izzy slander. I know some people didn't like him. some of he wasn't an exciting fighter and shit. But if you go back and watch, like, he had some duds, don't get me wrong, but that guy had some amazing fucking knockouts and shit, man. Like, Izzy's an all-timer, especially in that weight class. Like, it's Anderson, and like, there's not a lot behind Anderson.
Renee, come on.
Yeah, I mean, we can go back, but I mean, most of those guys back then, Brad, at 185 would have picked Izzy up and dumped him on his head and started raining down blows. A little bit more wrestling game in those weight classes back in the day, but
most of those guys back at 185 now would be fighting at like 155 today.
Yeah, they would.
Not with the roids that they were taking.
That's true.
They literally the 185 guys were all like 5'10", 5'11", just tanks, 185-pound tanks.
Sean Shirk would be a flyweight today.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, Ozzy, welcome to the show. I actually popped into the spaces that you did for like 5 minutes yesterday. I think there was one that you had last night, which would be yesterday morning your time. I don't know. You guys are fucked up. Anyway, co-main event, beautiful stuff. Maybe this guy Izzy could fight next. Just like have a boring 15-minute karate off. MVP takes a very predictable unanimous decision against one of the biggest frauds of all time. Loved it. Wish we could have got a bigger price on him, fading him down the road. But hey, what can you do? Wes, you're gonna.
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead, Wes.
No, we got him. The plant bloomed early. Sean mentioned on last show he would have, liked to got a little more, but you can't pass when you think the plant's like right there. You'd have been sad if you didn't have MVP here. And man, we saw it. Just was a good matchup. He's claiming he was on his deathbed sick or some shit now. Of course, he's a fucking Russian claiming fucking I was sick or some shit. Vlad poisoned me or something. But MVP, old as shit, can still be boring as fuck and just land a few more things than you and win as a nice dog.
John?
Yeah, not much more else to say. Like I said, I was happy that I didn't waste this one because he even got a matchup that he wanted and he still got exposed by MVP. Maybe people will just say, "Oh, MVP is just that good of a striker," and maybe we'll still get a price on him going against him with somebody that has any sorts of grappling, and we might be able to cash in again. I don't know. We might get a chance.
I think we'll have a chance to get like an MVP type number again, like a plus 150, a plus 160.
Oh, I think we're still going to get bigger stuff than that.
Possible. Very possible.
You know who he should get in his comeback fight? The Meerkat.
Ooh.
They'll book him with the Meerkats, try and get him back on track. And then Meerkat will twist him up into so many pretzels that eye'll start working again.
That has prime Meerkat written all over it. Gets caught, dropped. The dummy goes down, can't see where he's going because he's only seeing out of one side and gets wrapped up and choked. Perfect.
And I'll probably get he'll be lined -3, 4 in that kind of matchup because people are like, oh, he'll just kill him. Nothing to piss me off. It's late here, man. I'm old. It's late. I can't stay up that long. Moving along, rest of the main card. Sergey Pavlovich, unanimous decision over Rosenstruck, who is no longer with the UFC.
They cut his ass. Holy shit.
Lokdog gets the decision over Saeed.
Let's go.
And Faraz Ziam continues his streak resurgence after looking like he was going to suck early in the UFC. Unanimous decision over Mike Davis. I didn't watch this one. I heard that Davis fought like complete dog shit. But thoughts on the rest of the main card, Sean?
Some of these fighters were fighting like they were huffing on the fumes in the back. I don't know if you've heard
yeah, that's wild.
The fresh paint that they were huffing in the stalls before fight. But
somebody said somebody is like who was on? It was Weeks was on air and said one of his teammates or something literally was in the hospital and shit. But like he can't
The next
breathe
day
right
or
and shit.
whatever.
Yeah, he's like all fucked up. Like what? It is wild, dog.
They treat the fighters like all those workers they used to build the World Cup in Qatar? What? They had them stay in the same places?
Pretty much. But yeah, Pavlovich, a bit underwhelming. I mean, he kind of did what he had to. He minimized the risk and did what he had to. But
Patties, baby.
Patties, yeah, I'm an idiot.
Minutes.
This is another horrible bet. I took Pavlovich round 1. I just thought he would smoke this dude, and he did what you guys said he would. Was cautious. These guys have trained an absolute shit ton, so that's a big one to key in on when usually everybody's pretty hesitant to do anything when that happens. So the overs and all of that shit were obviously the play there. Saeed, fraud. He's a fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Turning out a lot of them are frauds.
Yeah. If he doesn't snatch something up, he's going to be in trouble because that guy does not have a gas tank. And yeah, Mike Davis was like pulling guard, coming injured. I don't know. That was ugly.
There had to be something going on with that dude. Like, there's no way that's his game plan and shit. Like, props to Zion.
Starts out striking and then pulls guard. Like what?
That was quick too. I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And then kept doing it. Like something had to be wrong with that guy. But props to Zion. Yeah, look, Pavlich did what he had to do, but like, look, Rosenstrick is who he is, but man, to cut that guy, that dude was like a top 10 dude. Y'all don't have a lot of.
He main evented how many times?
Dude, you don't have like a lot of heavy. He's still like, look, losses like this, he'd probably come out his next fight and try to fight a little more and shit. Like the guy's slow and shit, but he's still like a big dude that can knock guys out. Like, what are y'all doing? I just don't understand it. Well,
makes too much money, man.
It's something.
10, contender series heavyweights, man.
Look, Pavlich did like drop that guy once and shit. Like Pavlich, like he did what he had to do and was like really cautious and shit. But man, there's still flashes of that guy when he wants to go and throw and shit. Like, man, how's he just? He's still got a shot at a title, I think, someday. Like, out of all the other heavyweights outside of, Aspinall, Bones, we won't even throw him in there at this point right now, but Volkov and shit, like Pavlich is like, he's very, very good, I think, still. Loke Dog, awesome. Another fraud over here, but Loke Dog on Ariel talking like he put a cardio clinic on Marab and shit. I'm like, bro, chill out. You won with some cardio and pressure. But
just be realistic. Like trash somebody, but don't trash Marab or
what? If you're gonna do it, just be absurd with it.
But man, look, we watched him in the third round too. He was like gassed out, throwing fucking arm punches. It was just fucking dude was so gassed beside him, man. I just chill out, dude. I get like go for the top dog, but to talk about the cardio aspect, he was specifically talking. Marab's never seen a pace like I'll put on him and shit. I'm like, bro, chill. Marab's on that shit that the USA cycling team was doing back in the 2000s. That guy's literally on some of the best EPO on the planet. He has to be. There's just Loke Dog, get on your yams and come back and talk. But Loke Dog, man, he's awesome. That guy's a fun fight every time, and nice little cash on him. Got a little cash on him as well.
There you go. Rest of the card, real quick. Honestly, I don't care about any of it. So unless something was really interesting, we don't need to talk about it all that much. But Joe Namath takes out Khan Offley, decision. No fatties in Gazi Gaziev getting the first round stoppage over Thomas Peterson. Terrence McKinney did the thing that we said he was going to do, probably. Got a takedown early, got to the back, finished off Damir Hadzovic. in the first. We never got to see that cardio crash that we're waiting for in one of these McKinney fights. Canada pound for pound number 2, Jasmine Jasudavicius. Unanimous decision over MBS. I'm surprised the Saudis allowed an MBS to go down like this. Not good. Not good for the whole regime. Bogdan Grad. I actually watched this one. He was getting his shit lit up for like the whole first round. And I was like, oh, I'm an idiot for picking this dude. And then I wasn't an idiot because Lucas Alexander gassed and which is not a great combination. And Hamdi split decision over Pogo sticks. Bad one, maybe?
Already the worst decision of the year. Easy front runner for worst of the year.
There you go. Anything else, Sean?
McKinney is fun when he's the nail. He smashes dudes.
When he's the hammer, you mean?
When he's the hammer,
Sorry, the hammer, not the nail. I mean
he's kind of fun.
He's fun always. Yeah,
he's fun always. It don't matter what he is, but that was a smashing. Gaziev, the guy that beat him 2 fights ago or 1 fight ago is cut now. So I guess he just moves up in the division. And he's due for a step up here.
Wesley.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead. You finish up.
That's good. That's enough for that.
Name off is horrible. He's a fraud. Gaziev KO was awesome though. That I'll give that fucking fat motherfucker that was a fun walk off. Peterson wasn't even out though. He's like pulling out his mouthpiece and shit before the ref even stopped it. I guess he was just like, fuck this. I'm not gonna take anymore. McKinney's McKinney. Canada pound for pound number 2 is such a fucking fraud. And I hope we get some sort of line. I think we're going to, but this chick is like 35, almost 36 years old. Can we chill out? Yeah. And then Bogdan was fun. It was a fun fight. Lucas Alexander, I ended up throwing a little bet on him, and that was one of the dumbest things I did Saturday morning was bet a dude that has no cardio and can't fucking grapple worth of shit.
It looked good for a few minutes.
I was counting it. I was like, God damn, Lucas Alexander. He was tooling that dude. Like, he looked great in the first round. Died.
Yes, he did. I don't know. I assume that Pogues is under the salary line, the Mendoza line in the salaries structure, where he doesn't get cut no matter how bad he is. So I think
just give us any kind of fucking decent line on overs and Pogues fights, because you're gonna make a lot of money.
This is an early card as well, I believe.
No,
right?
No,
it's a pay-per-view card.
Yeah, regular time.
Yeah, but it's an Australia pay-per-view card. Are they?
Yeah, but they just do local. They do the regular time. Yeah, because
it's 14 hours or something like that from East.
So it's just like it's happening during the day instead of
it's an early one.
I prefer if it was an early card. I was more. It was the opening day of college lacrosse season. Lacrosse has been going on. But even still, because the fights were on early, I turned them on. I watched a few. I stopped watching for a few. I came back and watched a few more. Early fights worked for me.
I had so many screens going Saturday afternoon. It was actually lovely. Lacrosse, fights, soccer.
Bets for lacrosse, but we've already bounced back.
We're already making that back. We
have to give the offering at the very start of the season just to make sure that we're good to go for the next 4 months.
Weekday lacrosse has literally always been good to us betting wise. I don't know what it is, but when there's a couple random games on during the week, you like hone in a little more. You gotta.
I think that's
gotta look at it a little closer.
All right, thank Ozzy for the confirmation. normal time for us. Saturday night, I think The Rock have a game, so I'll probably be out. And then we've got people over because Super Bowl, the old. Do either of you guys watch What We Do in the Shadows? The old Superb Owl week. No?
I need to catch up on that.
I've never watched it, but that's something that's on the list. Yeah,
it is.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Very glad that the Super Bowl is here, so that the Super Bowl can be done.
Go away.
Yeah.
Don't have to hear about
Same.
football for a few months. But yeah, it's a competitive weekend. They used to put on good cards.
Super Bowl weekend used to be like
The Super Saturday cards.
a big weekend. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Hasn't been for a while though.
Yep.
Same thing with Memorial Day. Used to be a big one. New Year's Eve or like the closest weekend used to be a big one. They don't do any of it anymore.
Since it got legalized in New York, and then since the Saudis came in, they've kind of just focused on different locations, and those kind of got left behind.
Remember when there was a couple years where we got 2 big fight cards on 4th of July weekend, I believe it was. Like, it was like
3. There was a one time where it was 3. We had Thursday, Friday, Saturday card.
Yeah, it was like
RDA and Eddie Alvarez was the like fight pass main event on the Thursday, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was the Thursday or Friday, but yeah.
Even early into the TV era, man, it was still really, really good. Like, we still got really good stuff, but
no longer.
Nope.
Anyway, we're over in Australia. Where in Australia are we?
Sydney, Australia.
Ozzy, where does Sydney rate on the scale of Australian cities? You'll have to fill us in there. But 13 fights on this card, some local flavor, if you will. And we're going to kick it off in the flyweight division with Hyung Sung Park and Name Gargle Tumbleweed. Sean?
What do we do here? Why? I mean, I guess these are, the Asian and Mongolia is Asia. Just Asian fighters.
Mongolia is Asia.
I know, like how far would a flight be from old Mongolia to Australia? Like, is it not too bad?
No, it wouldn't be
8 hours, something like that.
Yeah,
not even that long, I don't think.
No. Okay. Well,
I remember when I was in Vietnam, some people from Australia said they flew like 4 hours, but I think they were in Perth, which is like North Australia.
Sydney's like towards the bottom of Australia, though, right? Like,
it's good. Right. You might be right. You might be like 8 hours.
8-10 hours, maybe. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I have no clue who these people are. Surprisingly, they have a shit ton of finishers for flyweight fighters. The Korean gentleman has eight finishes and 9 wins, and the Mongolian has 7 and 8 fights. So like that's surprising. I mean, at 125, you don't see that too much, but should be fun. I will pick probably whoever the favorite is. Looks like it's the Korean gentleman.
Makes sense. Wes?
I'm just still trying to catch my breath from Name Gargle Tumbleweed.
I thought it was Turinabol or some shit like that, but
calls him how
Brad comes up. Brad comes up with the heaters.
Sure. Well, that dude's name is literally something that we put in our food in America. It's got to be like it's one of those secret bad fucking chemicals they pack in the shit or something. Yeah, I mean, Park's been fun so far in the UFC. Dude actually can wrestle a little bit, but he's got like knockouts and shit. I think that probably happens here. I think Park probably gets a finish somewhere here, but man, I don't remember enough of Name Gargle to lay -230. I know he did lose a split to Carlos Hernandez, who is like not very good at this point. The under 2.5 is not a bad price. Maybe that, I don't know. I like Park here. I think he finds a finish somewhere in the 2nd or 3rd round, but I don't know if I want to put any money on it, but that's the way I'm leaning.
Honestly, absolutely no clue about who these guys are, but generally, flyweights that they bring in from wherever they're from are pretty decent, competent fighters. In this case, as you said, they both have a bunch of finishes on the regional circuit. I would think this is probably going to be a competitive fight, and gun to my head, if I could pick something other than a side in Toutmaster, I'd probably take the over 2.5 at plus money here, just because these fights tend to be close. For Toutmaster purposes, we'll go with the old tumbleweed for those extra couple points.
Time to gain a point on bread.
Lightweight division, Killing Salkid. Okay. Taking on Anshul Jubilee. This is that dude was like favored big against one of the jobbers that they brought in and lost in embarrassing fashion for the country of India, right?
He was minus 250.
Honestly, not as high a favorite as I thought. The story's grown in my mind like that fish that you catch, you know? Sean, thoughts here?
He was up 2-0 on all the judges' scorecards in that fight and then got knocked out in the third.
Nice, plus 500.
And now he's plus 500. This number escalated. Holy shit, it opened minus 250 and now it's minus 700. That's pretty wild. I don't know who the Killing is. As a 7-1 favorite.
Chicken? You talking about chicken here?
That hot Nashville.
This is bad. Holy fuck.
Oh, but yeah, I have no clue. But if he's minus 700, I'll probably pick him because I would hope he would win if he's minus 700.
Wesley?
I mean, this dude's minus 700 coming off like some shit decision on Contender Series. Like that just seems crazy to me. Look, I'm not betting the old Jubilee here, but might have to pick him in Toutmaster, man. Just minus 700 seems kind of crazy to me. Jubilee, he did get beat by Breeden, but like we said, he was favored in that fight. He was up in that fight, got caught. He's got some, like, had a fight night win against, I think it was the road to UFC guys. He fought another one of those, but he's got a couple wins in the UFC, however you want to qualify them, but minus 700 seems steep to me.
Yeah, that's a big price for a guy who is relatively unproven, and when he did have that bit of a step up, wasn't overwhelming on Contender Series, so gives me a bit of pause. But and even in the fight that he lost against, that he was winning against Breeden, it's not like he was impressive.
Smoking him. No.
And that dude's not good. Like I wish I could pass on this fight entirely. But yeah, we'll probably throw the old Toutmaster dart on Jubilee, because hey, if another one of these big ones comes through when it's under 10% picked, could make the difference when we get to the end of the year, or when I start forgetting shit. And moving on, welterweight division, Kevin Jousset taking on Jonathan McAuliffe. I've never heard of Jonathan McAuliffe. I don't think he's related to Tim, and I would imagine he's never fought in the UFC. Maybe Contender Series?
Contender,
of course. Cheap labor. Contender Series labor. So Wes will have to tell us who this McAuliffe sir is, because I am not watching that just flesh Dana's Flesh weekly show where he just gets minimum wage served to him. Yeah, Giuseppe's a minus 250 favorite. It's we saw some limitations last time out against Brian Battle, but I have no clue who this Macau guy is, so I will take Giuseppe.
Wesley.
Tell me I'm wrong, Wes.
Man, Giuseppe is minus 200 whatever after that last. Like, look, Brian Battle's better than I thought or most people thought. But, man, he was styling on this guy. Like, Giuseppe looked like he didn't even belong anywhere near the fucking cage, man. So I don't know enough about this other guy. He's like 6 years younger. He's a younger dude. Decent win on Contender Series, but I can't pull the trigger with any kind of money. He's probably going to be my pick and top measure. Like Giuseppe is minus 250 is just crazy coming off that last performance.
I'm going to take Giuseppe just because the other guy won his Contender Series via triangle. I saw there was takedowns going both ways, some sweeps and all that grappling bullshit. And Giuseppe's probably just going to keep this on the feet, and it's not great there as we saw last time out. But I think he's confident enough to get the job done here. Absolutely not betting him at any sort of favorite price, but he will be the pick here. Lightweight division again.
Man, this card's
Cody Steele against my boy. If you wrong, I don't want to be right, Sean.
Oh man, Cody Steele is. I don't know his BJJ credentials, but I hear he's very good, which is interesting because he's got four knockouts in 7 fights, and he only has 1 submission win in his MMA career. I don't know what kind of plugs he was fighting that he was able to knock them out, or actually maybe he's got decent stand up. I
did see a clip of the Contender Series one, and like good rip to the body.
Yeah, it's fair. Rongju is not very good, but he has 31 fights. So he's a decent test for Cody Steele. I'll be interested to see how this fight goes because is Steele, now that he's actually in the UFC, is he going to have to force grappling, or is that stand up good enough to beat these kind of lower level guys in Rongju? I'll be interested to see. I'll take Cody Steele to win because Rongju is not good.
I haven't watched any of his grappling because I've only got so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
But some interesting names on his grappling resume. Hobocop. He lost a decision. But
Hobocop is big.
Hobocop's 40 pounds bigger than him.
Yep.
Beat Phil Rowe in grappling.
Jason High. That's a dude's bigger than him too. Like that guy was like 170, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like a lot of real recognizable names in there.
Rutolo, dude.
And I didn't even know. I don't know how the math on this works, but apparently there's Ronaldo Souza Jr. A little Jacare Jr. who is already 28 years old.
I knew that guy was always 50.
And he lost a decision to him last year. But anyway, Wes, thoughts on Cody Steele and Rongju?
Yeah, I guess you got to lean Steele here. Definitely the better fighter. Oju is like 30 fights and still at this point, like how good is the guy? I know he's like 25, 26 with 30 fights, which is kind of crazy. But I think he brings a fight. I think Sean's right. Like you're going to find out a lot about Steele in this fight because he's going to come forward and put a fight. But I lean the under here. If I bet anything, it'll be the under 2.5. I think they're going to scrap. I think Zhu's going to come forward and Steele's going to have to fight, and he's a proven finisher already. So If he's as good as he looks like he might be, then I think he gets Wrong Drew out of there. So I'm gonna probably play a little under 2.5 and pick Steele, but no money on the side.
I think that's fair. What's the sub price for Steele? 325. Not terrible. I think that's probably the path here because Jurong doesn't know how to grapple. So that's not good. Honestly, last week I was talking about how I thought Damir Hadzovic was out of the UFC for like a decade and then came back. Rongju fights so much that I didn't even realize he was out of the UFC and had like a fight and then 4 more road to UFC fights and then another fight and he's back. So, different strokes and whatever. But yeah, we're going to be taking Cody Steele here. Got to think that the grappling difference is going to play quite a role in this one. Bantamweight division. Colby, are you down with the thickness? Taking on this is Ilya's brother, right? Alexandre Topuria. Sean?
Could this thickness be just the complete opposite of friend of the MMA analysis? Thick Willie. He's just 135-pound pasty motherfucker from Australia. Just so far away from what the Thick Willie is.
Should be legally required to change his last name.
You should have to have by law an inspection. Like if you're not at least like pushing double digits, you gotta give up the name. You have to.
Yeah. Whoever decided on that name way back when, I don't know. I don't know if they went through the proper channels to be able to get that name, but they
got the matriarch might have
oh man. Yeah, this thickness trains with Volkanovski. You got Tapuria's brother. It's an interesting fight. I haven't watched either of these guys fight before. Thickness is, beating up just scrubs on the regional scene, but doing what he's supposed to. He's got a bunch of wins in a row in the first round, but Tapuria's brother is okay. I don't think he's anywhere within an extra mile of the good one, but he probably gets it done here.
Wesley?
Yeah, I do feel like though you're getting some inflated shit here because of that name. Like, I get he probably should win the fight. He's probably a little bit better than this guy, but I mean, do we know that? This guy's fighting on like War One and HD. Like, he's fighting like bottom barrel. Like 2 fights ago, he fought a guy that was 1-9. I mean, how are they even lining this guy up with these opponents? Like, say what you will about down with the thickness, but I mean, he's fighting some dudes with some records on the regional scene. I feel like this is a little inflated. I don't know if I can bring myself to pull the trigger on the thickness, but I was looking at the over. It's 1.5. I just feel like you get guys like this in a fight, and it's going to be slow to start, and they're going to feel each other out. These dudes are, what are they fighting at 135? I mean, 1.5 at like minus 120 seems like a pretty good bet here. So I'll definitely be on that. I might have to bring myself to pick thickness in Talmaster. I just think like this line is inflated because of the last name. So thickness a pick. I can't bring myself to bet money on him, but I do like the over 1.5.
Yeah, full disclosure, have never seen either of these dudes fight, but I don't know how you can take a guy who hasn't fought in 2 years, has only ever fought one dude with a winning record. He isn't undefeated despite that, and he's a minus 500 favorite almost. Like, I don't know how any of that adds up when he's facing a dude who isn't fighting the greatest competition on the regional circuit, but has actually fought a couple dudes, has actually gone to decision in fights. I think that all of Topuria's wins have all been in the first round. The one fight he lost went to the third round, and then he retired for like 6 years after he lost that one, got knocked out. And yeah, that's just like a lot of red flags between the name, the record, the layoff, the way he wins and loses fights. That's just way too much to ignore. So I will gladly blindly fade some Topuria here because not going to get a chance for not going to say never, but not for a long time are we going to get a chance to fade the other brother. So give me a little slim thickness over here.
Luckily, the other brother might be dumb enough to try to go up and fight Mike and Cheese, so we might get a chance soon to fade the brother.
I don't know how much of a fade that's going to be, though.
Yeah, because he's gonna be a pretty good dog, I would imagine.
Yeah. Women's flyweight division up next, the one that we've all been waiting for. Bruna Brazil taking on everybody Wang Kong tonight. Everybody have fun. Sean?
Got to get the book going. We got to.
Yeah. Wang Kong is a giant favorite again. I don't know if that was just a one-off. It was pretty wild to see someone who's, a good striker considering the division she's in just get smoked like that against a chick who really hasn't shown much power. So I don't know if it's a glass jaw thing. I don't know if it was just like a fucking Hail Mary that landed. She is a lot better than most of these fighters, but obviously when something like that happens, you gotta pause a bit and figure out if she's a fraud. I don't think she is. I think she wins here. Bruna Brazil is not good. But pretty scary if you're laying this number. Good luck to whoever wants to do that.
Wesley.
Yeah, I don't think she's necessarily a fraud, but I think she's been exposed a little bit about put her in a tough fucking spot and you can maybe get her out of there. And I do think, Brazil's not great or anything, but we watched her stay in fights and shit. And that number's just wild to me coming off a loss like that and shit. So look, this would only be dog or pass for me. Probably not going to be able to bet Brazil. Like I know her decision is like plus 600 or something like that. Maybe throw a couple bucks on that, but absolutely picking her and Titlemaster. I think we've seen Wang exposed a tiny bit if you put her in a tough fight. And I think this might not be a tough fight, but Brazil's going to be in it the entire time. We'll see how Wang bounces back if she can, but number is just way too big in my opinion.
Are they allowed to show that because it's on pay-per-view? Wang getting exposed?
Good thing this fight is not on the pay-per-view. So
they might not be allowed to show it then.
That's right.
Oh, geez. Well, if you're watching this fight and the feed blacks out, it's because Wang got exposed again.
I mean, fuck, who knows? Does the FCC exist anymore? I thought there was just
free speech.
I thought nothing was going on.
Matt Gates in a high school. Sometimes Wang gets exposed. All right.
Free expression. Should be able to whip it out whenever, wherever.
That falls under free speech, right? Dana's big free speech guy.
Free expression.
Freedom to helicopter. Correct.
I will be picking Brazil just because, until further notice, I assume that they're all frauds, and I haven't been proven wrong yet. So we're going to keep rolling with that. A couple more prelims to go here. Lightweight division. Tom Nolan, he of previous hype and derailment, taking on old Slava Cold Soup. My boy, Sean, what do we got here?
Yeah, getting smoked in the first round by Nicholas Mota will derail a train real quick. I don't know. This is a close fight. It's probably lined fairly correctly. Slava Claus is, I mean, he's not great. Like, even when he gets a fight that he wants to in a stand-up fight, he's not amazing. Couldn't put away James Lawntop. I'd probably pick Nolan if I really needed to.
What's it?
Yeah, Slava's not great. I do think he's going to get the fight he wants here, though. Like, Emma Nolan's probably going to kickbox, and I trust Slava's chin way more. It's just the only difference here. Like Lon-Top got hit and took him from Slava. Slava can throw still, man. Like, he's tough as fuck. Nolan's probably got a little bit more pop than him, but who's gonna stop throwing first in this fight? It ain't gonna be Slava. So can the chin hold up? It has. Slava's had problems lately with guys that just bully him. You know what I'm saying? They get in and take him down and bully him and shit. I don't think Nolan's doing that. I think Nolan's gonna strike with him and it's gonna give him a chance. So it's hard to lay any kind of juice on Slava, though, from how he's looked lately. Like, he does seem like the damage is starting to add up. He's been in some rough ones lately. So lean cold soup. If I was to bet it'd be Slava, but I don't know. I'll watch the line. If it comes down a tiny bit, I might throw a little bit on him, but he's definitely the pick.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking maybe we'll look at the over here, but I'm not sure how much I trust Nolan's chin. But honestly, my breakdown is that he's going to be pretty successful in this fight. Obviously, they see something in him because after getting knocked out as a massive favorite, they booked him against two more guys that he was a massive favorite against. So I don't know if they see this as, here's an old striker that's not going to try and grapple you. And you can, you've got a big size, reach advantage, all that. You can do some work against them. So I feel like if the Mota fight never happened, this would probably be lined like the Mota fight was. And instead, Nolan's slight plus money. So I think I'm going to side with Tom Nolan here. I don't feel great about it. I think there's a 125 out there. I thought I saw that at MGM, which that might be enough to rope me in. But again, not something I feel great about. It just seems like the scenario is very much the UFC is looking for a certain result here, and it's not the old cold soup get the win. So Tom Nolan will be the pick, possibly the bet. We shall see. And the final prelim, we've got Jack Jenkins, weird mullety dude, taking on Gabriel Santos, who beat the Yizza last time out. Surprised they didn't line up with Ghostface.
Wu-Tang. I'm surprised by this line a bit. I know Santos had two really tough fights to open his UFC career. Jenkins is a decent all-around fighter. I mean, he's okay standing up. He can grapple a bit. He's decent, and he's almost plus 200. That seems a bit off to me. So I'll probably pick and have a small bet on Jack Jenkins.
What's it?
Yeah, dude's durable at home, can strike a little bit, can grapple a little bit, has good defensive wrestling. Santos flying halfway around the world, had two, Onama. They're tough fights. decision against the old Yizza. Like he's okay, but like getting a really like all around decent fighter, man, fighting at home at 2-1, like you got to take a little Jenkins here. I think I don't think Santos can get a finish in this fight. So you're talking probably 15 minutes at home. Yeah, I like Jenkins. I think he can get a decision here.
Huh. We should have looked maybe a little further down the card for our consensus bet of the week, because I'm kind of leaning the same way. I don't know if the Lerone Murphy result was Murphy just wasn't prepared well, or he's one of those guys that doesn't really create a lot of distance in fights. So that one made that a whole lot closer than it should have been. But Santos hasn't been incredibly impressive outside of that. It was kind of that shock performance, and that's it. And Jenkins generally seems to get a decent amount of backing, or at least he did before he dropped that fight to Mariscal. So, as you said, kind of surprising given where this fight's taking place and all the circumstances that Jenkins is almost plus 200. So that is something that I'm tempted to take a look at. Looks like I'm going to be having a lot of dogs again. So I hope that trend continues for the old Toutmaster. But we shall see on Saturday night. Main card now. Welterweight division. The one that I've been trying to say a couple times now. Jake Matthews, Francisco Prado, the Argentinian Dober, if you will. Sean, what do we got here?
If Jake Matthews is smart, he probably grapples in this fight, because we saw Prado's durability in that Zellhuber fight. He can throw him, and obviously he can take him. So
you just need to.
If Matthews if Matthews fucks around on the feet, he could get clipped. They kind of set Matthews up pretty good usually. I think they've kind of now figured out anytime he steps up to a good fighter, he's going to lose. So might as well get the home guy a win. So I think he probably does grapple and wins, but the number seems a bit wide.
It's the cycle of Jake. I mean, it's a story as old as time. A few wins, keep getting those bigger and bigger prices, and then you hop in there. This isn't the hop in there time. Right, Wes?
Yeah, no, I actually really like Matthews in this fight. I just think look back at his last few losses, and it's like the same guy. It's dudes that are bigger and just bullying. And Prado is not going to be the bigger dude in this fight. He's not going to be able to bully Jake Matthews. Sean's right. Like if he grapples and wrestles, which I think he probably will, he's going to win this fight fairly easily. I think Prado can't stop him from taking him down. Now he stands and strikes with Prado for 15 minutes. Yeah, it gives Prado a chance, but I think this is a really good matchup. It just the dudes at the Morales loss. Just bigger guy that could stand up and bully him. Just guys that bullying. Prado can't do that. So line is a little wide, but I'm just, if it was 3 minus 300, minus 400, then that's another story. But around minus 200 for Matthews at home against a guy that it's not going to be bigger and can bully him. I kind of like that a lot. So yeah, Matthews for me will be in a couple things.
Yeah, honestly, when I'm looking up and down the card, this looks like one of the better parlay pieces.
Yep.
Very much agree with what Wes said, that, if he grapples, it's easy. Honestly, with some of the striking that we've seen from Matthews over the past couple of years, if he strikes, I'm not sure that it won't be easy either. So, I think Prado's just outmatched wherever this fight takes place. It's not that wrestler that can force Matthews into spots that he's not used to. I mean, it's hard to call him a kid anymore because he's been around for like a decade. It feels like he was 18 him into the UFC. But this guy's 30 now. He knows what he can do, what he can't do, and usually what his opponents can do. So I think that Jake Matthews kind of cruises to a decision, maybe late submission if he really tries to pursue the grappling game in this one. Light heavyweight division. Jimmy Crute. Is he still living in an RV or a van outside of his gym or whatever sad existence he had a while ago?
He fights in the UFC still, probably.
He's taking on Rodolfo Balato, another Brazilian flying halfway across the world. Sean.
That is true. Jimmy Crute is looked pretty rough in the last couple of years. Yeah, it seemed like he might have been something, especially in this shitty ass division. But I don't know, having that leg get fucked up against Anthony Smith, getting smoked by Jamal Hill, that's not the worst loss. But then getting almost murdered by Menafield and then getting choked by Menafield, not good things. What is Bellotto? I don't know. He's doing what he needs to do, but he was getting landed on by Poteria. Not good. I'll probably pick Bellotto, but I would be terrified to lay minus 160 on a guy that he was getting lit up by Ihor.
Wesley.
Yeah, as far as like a side here, there's not a bigger pass on the card for me. I don't know how you trust either. These like Crute's line isn't like big enough to take a shot, and then you want to lay juice on Bellotto, who's just like was getting hit by Ihor. It's bad, man. I was leaning a little over though, 1.5. Bellotto doesn't like crush dudes or anything. And Crute coming off those Menafield fights, think he's going to have a little better game plan, maybe ease into the fight a little more. So, but man, who knows, dude? I seriously have this fight's the hardest one on the card for me. I just feel like these are two like really flawed, bad dudes. So, probably just a total pass. I'm gonna pick Jimmy Crute, but who knows, man.
I'll have to take a look at the old Betway because they're saying that the under 2.5 is minus 163 right now. I imagine that's just outdated because they haven't been updated in a while, but they're still like Bovada's minus 175. I'm kind of the opposite of Wes. I like the under 2.5 here. I just think both these dudes are very fragile. It might not even take their opponent landing something on them to lose the fight. Their bodies just might explode. Could happen. It's happened before to Jimmy Crute. I know that both of Bellotto's losses came to that yoked up human being, allegedly, Petrino. But again, they've shown the limitations in his game, even in fights that he's having some success in because he was doing all right in that second one. So kind of looking at the under 2.5, maybe pair that up with Jake Matthews, but no real strong lean. And I don't know how you could have a strong feeling about the side here. It's just two flaky dudes.
I would never put $1 on over 2.5. There's no way in hell. I was like contemplating 1.5, but yeah, no, these dudes are.
Maybe we'll meet in the middle there, Wes. We'll get a late second, pass. Early third.
Let's just pass. There's other stuff.
In fairness, this fight does not compel me to watch it, so passing is probably the right call. A fight that definitely compels me to watch it and should be on a main card. Heavyweight division.
Let's go.
Justin Taffa, the shitty Taffa, taking on Taliesin Teixeira, the shitty Teixeira. I don't know if he's related to Glover, but you can't have that name.
He definitely ain't in the garage, and that's really all that matters.
He does not look like he's been training there. That's for sure.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. Tafa's not good. Anytime you get just absolutely outboxed and outstruck by Jared Vandera, you kind of get on the shit list. I know he's got some wins since then, but man, that's terrible. Is this going to be fun? These guys aren't going to go for takedowns. They're going to strike it out.
Stupid.
It's I don't know. I'll pick Teixeira. Tafa's that bad, but it's terrible heavyweights.
Wesley.
Yeah, it's terrible heavyweights. Look at the line on that. Just man, plus 145, plus 150. Can they be that bad? Can this fight be that good? Could these dudes be that bad and this fight be that good to where they just get sloppy and dumb?
Teixeira's not seen the second round.
I love those. That's you gotta play those percentages, man. Look, I like fight starts round 2. We'll wait for it to get released everywhere. It's like 118 or something at FanDuel. Over 1.5 is like plus 150. I got to take that out of principle. So, yeah, fight starts round 2, a little over 1.5. I'll pick Teixeira, but who knows on the side here?
I mean, Teixeira, he's tall, he's a string bean, but Tafa makes up for it by being a 6-foot heavyweight that clocks in at the limit. So we definitely have some T-shirt in the pool potential. Because, I mean, a dude like Teixeira shows up to the pool, doesn't want to take the T-shirt off either. There's no definition going on under there. So double T-shirt in the pool. We're going over 1.5.
It's happening.
It's
like Sean said. Why? Sean hit it exactly why. Teixeira doesn't get out of the first round. This is going 15 minutes, bro. It's gonna go 15.
Yeah, he gets out of those first like 2 minutes, and then he's gonna be like, "Oh shit." You want a hug? Let's hug for 13 minutes, man.
No, let's roll around a little bit. Let's just roll around. Fuck it.
And, both of you picked Teixeira. Teixeira's favored. Tafa's gone to decision in 3 of his 4 losses. Ooh. I'm just saying, this all feels like it's lining up for some fatties to come through. We got the over 1.5.
Teixeira decision plus 900. I'm not going that far, but let's just get this 1.5.
I think we'll just take the 1.5 here and count our blessings because there's even not that much of the difference between the 2 and the goes the distance. So not worth it, like some other fights that we've talked about in the past. Co-main event. Yes, that's correct. We just went from 2 heavyweights that you've never heard of to a co-main event. Strawweight title. Weili Zhang defending her belt for, I don't know, this 4th time, we'll say. Taking on the future, possibly present, but always potentially about to round the corner and be healthy, Tatiana Suarez. Sean.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. Suarez has been this hyped prospect for a pretty long time now, and is just always injured. She was supposed to fight old Handy and last year and couldn't fight. And then she gets gifted a title shot because 115 is no longer good. It was at one point, but relatively. But yeah, it's interesting because she obviously has that wrestling that nobody really else does have in this division. It's just she's always hurt. she's probably hurt coming into this fight, but she has to take this title shot because she might never get again. She might not ever make it to another fight again. It's kind of all up in the air. The money coming in on Suarez, it seems like it's got a bit too far. If she doesn't get her out of there in the first 2 rounds, what is this going to look like? Because she didn't look great against Nina Nunes in the 3rd round. She's never gone 5. I'm very interested, and I know people kind of shit on. Well, they don't shit on it, but they kind of poke holes in Zhang's last fight against Yan. That fight should over in the 1st round. It was the 1st round, right? When she choked her dead and she just woke up. Like, the fight's over. She fucking gassed the fuck out trying to finish that chick. And I forget which referee that was, but he's a moron. And I lost inside the distance on that nice little play there. But so a lot of that fight doesn't happen if that is called properly. Suarez is going to get some takedowns, but I don't know if she finishes her. And then it's going to be, I think she's going to be in hell those last 3 rounds. So I'm on Zhang Weili. I got how many units? I think 2.5 at plus 205 or plus 105. Sorry, 2.5. Yep. 205.
Where you? Whew.
Yeah, plus 105.
That's a different story.
I'm starting to use decimal odds. We're trying to separate ourselves from America. So gotta switch it up. Wes. I think it was the 2nd round where she just like fucked Yan shit up and choked her out. But like she was crushing.
Yeah, the strikes were 54-4 in that round.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Anyway, Wes.
Yeah, I think the important thing Sean hit on is this is going to come down to, like, for me, does Suarez's cardio hold up? I'm banking on her being healthy. Everything I've seen, she looks in incredible shape. She's training, not hurt at this moment in time. So
we are recording this at 11 Eastern time.
I mean, we did watch Dom Cruz pull out of another fight to probably end his career. So when you're hurt all the time, it happens. But I'm banking on her being healthy for this fight. And the wrestling's the wrestling. Like, it's better than everybody's. She's going to get takedowns. I don't know if she can finish Weili. Has Weili had to fight off that kind of grappling and wrestling and sub attempts in her career? I mean, there's going to be questions that have to be answered by her. In my opinion, she's never fought somebody like this. Suarez, for me, does the cardio hold up? Because she's going to have to fucking wrestle. If she doesn't finish her in the first couple rounds, like, there's going to be serious questions to be answered by her. I'm betting on what I think is the strongest fucking, technique in this fight, and that's Suarez's wrestling. If the cardio holds up, I think she can wrestle the shit out of Weili. It's going to be tough at times. Weili's amazing. Like, she's an amazing fighter. But I'm going to bank on the wrestling. I'm going to bank on the cardio, and I'm going to bank on the health more than anything, that the chick's healthy. So I picked her to be the champ at the end of the year, and I picked her mainly because I think she wins this fight and probably never fights the rest of the year, maybe again in her career. But it's a close fight. It's lined that way. The Suarez money over, since the line hit does mean something. She's dropped a fucking $1 since the lines opened up. But it's a close fight, man. Weili's amazing. Like I said, I'm going to bank on Suarez's wrestling and her cardio holding up.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that the line has moved as much as it had. And I'm not sure if it's people just like they've had this pent up for a decade now, Suarez is going to be the champ at some point, and this is the only chance that they're ever actually going to get to.
Some got to be real. Some of it's got to be like sharp. Some of it has to be like it can't just be all of that to move that much. But
it might be a tout releasing it to subscribers.
A lot of it. I think Brad's right on like some of that line move though. It is people that's banked on Suarez for years now. Like me personally, I'm not necessarily. That's not my whole angle for betting it. Probably a little bit in the back of my mind for sure. But I do think she personally matches up well. But I think Brad's right on that point.
There was actually I can't remember who it was, but I saw somebody post like, "Do you think CLV matters in MMA?" Which
not like other sports at all. No.
Definitely not like other sports, because like MMA is
not efficient
for betting. There's no actual mathematical basis as much as these nerds will try and tell you that there is, because like
matchups
context to all the stats, and the stats are unreliable to begin with, and like so many reasons. Anyway, cool conversation. We'll save it for another time. I like Weili here. I don't know when the next time we'll get her at plus money is, and I'm not sure how effective the wrestling is actually going to be here. I think that the difference in physicality from Weili to the rest of the division is still her biggest edge. We've seen that for years and years and years in the women's divisions, that like they're behind the men in terms of the ability to make up for physical advantages with technique. And I don't think they're all the way there. If Suarez can get an early takedown in a dominant position, wonderful. I'll be glad to have not laid a minus money or a minus bet on Weili. But I'm willing to bank on the fact that she can keep distance a little bit better. She's strong enough to avoid those early takedowns. And then once we get into cardio zone with Suarez, it's going to be a struggle. And I think she's at a massive disadvantage on the feet. So Weili, round 5 sub, 125 to 1. Not sure that I'll necessarily be taking that. But I definitely think that rounds 2 through 5, she takes over after fending off some takedowns from Suarez in round 1. So I'll take Weili. I will take her at plus 105. And
I personally think if somebody's getting a sub in this fight, it's more likely Suarez.
Because Suarez early, obviously.
We're not just talking about just pure wrestling here. Her grappling is insane. Like she chokes bitches out. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's going to be a mercy sub if she's gassed. That's really
of course. I'm not. Those lines are insane. And like if you like Weili, of course those are good outs there. I'm just saying with. How I'm breaking down the fight, like it's not just wrestling and holding on with cardio and hanging on Weili for 5 rounds here. If she gets takedowns, she has opportunities to choke Weili out. Her grappling is insane.
If she wins this fight, the
it's
plus
probably
200 that went to minus 125 should have gone to like minus 300. That's what it'll look like.
I think if Suarez does win this fight, more likely than not, it is a early round sub, and she's probably got to get it done like that. So, yeah, the late Weili sub prices are insane, and like we know Aussie, he finds those crazy fucking prices, like Brad, you know, good fight though. Actually, a very very good women's fight.
Yeah. This is a tremendous fight. It might not play out as like an exciting back and forth fight because of the styles, but I mean, you can't really ask for someone that's better at what she does in the women's divisions than Suarez. And Weili's just, we've seen time and time again that she's still improving, but she's also just a physical monster, which is interesting to watch at those divisions. And finally, main event, middleweight division. the rematch couldn't be booked for America. It's like too live crew. It's too real. Sean Strickland, the SS, going back to fight the Third Reichus. Which racism is going to win out in this one, Sean?
I don't know, but we're all gonna lose. That's what I believe.
Nobody wins in this fucking.
Nobody wins. It's wild with the amount of strikes that Strickland lands. It's wild that he's not in exciting fights ever.
He's never hurt anybody outside of the gym.
Not in a very, very long time.
I love who asked. Somebody literally asked him that. Like, why don't you fight like you're fighting guys in the gym? You're like very exciting when we film. He like starts like, yeah, bro, because he's beating up on gym bums. You know, it's a little different story.
Beating up fucking influencers and shit like that.
Yep.
Yeah, so I had a pretty sizable bet on DDP last time. I scored the fight for Strickland. I don't think it was a robbery. There were very close rounds. It's always tough to judge a Sean Strickland fight when the striking is somewhat competitive, just because he throws a lot, he lands a lot, but does it do anything? It's really hard to tell. And DDP kind of has a brick head, so that doesn't help anything.
The damage last time was crazy, though, man. Like, I was watching clips of the fight. DDP after the fight is.
Look what DDP looked like after that fight.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he fucking, his face was swollen to shit.
I just don't know if that's just kind of
soft boar skin.
I just don't know. Like, is it just because, cage side, when Strickland hits him, it's soft, and obviously hits him a million times and eventually it shows damage, but when you're judging it round by round, it's maybe it just doesn't look like it's doing much. I don't know. I think Strickland is going to be a little more aggressive this time, throw with a little more power. I think he can throw with power, he just chooses kind of not to. He's going to get taken down a bit, but I think his, get up game and his, just takedown defense is going to be enough to keep this for the most part on the feet. And then it's going to be close because DDP is going to land dumb shit that shouldn't land, but it has power, and Strickland's going to up volume. And it's going to be a close fight, just like the last one. And I got Sean Strickland at plus 175. Yeah, I had to take that. I got 2 units on him.
How close is Anaheim to Stockton?
Ooh, that's a ways.
Yeah, Stockton's way northern California.
North Valley. Yeah. Okay.
Anaheim is like right outside of LA and shit, I believe. So like mid California, right?
5.5, 6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, Northern California is a completely different world. It might as well be disconnected and put closer to where I live. What Northern California should be.
I was just going to say, if Sean Strickland was born a couple hours north, then he could fight by Diaz rules. He'd be like, man, I didn't get knocked out, I didn't stop, I just ran out of time. Whatever shit that those clowns always say. Wesley, what do you got here?
Yeah, this is I'm a lot of what Sean said, man. Last fight was super close. I scored it for Strickland. Could have went either way. It was a split, so I just feel like it's going to be a lot of the same fight. Is Strickland is it gonna be clean enough to sway judges again? He's gonna throw a lot. I hope he stops doing that dumb fucking like front push kick he does a lot.
Oh man, that's part of his game.
But, like, take a little of that out and just throw some pillow punches, because they count more for what the judges are looking at. Like, even good leg kicks rarely get counted. So like that dumb push kick just makes you look stupid, like you're really not doing a lot.
Defense, man.
It's so bad. I hate betting on a literal white supremacist, but I gotta do it here. I think
You got to do it here, or you don't have a bet on the fight.
I gotta do it here. Like Sean's right. Like you're getting plus 175 on another fight that's gonna be fairly close. I thought Strickland won the last fight. He's gonna do a lot of the same. He's gonna throw a lot. I still don't think I don't think DDP is necessarily a good fighter. He just has some traits that work in this shitty fucking sport. You know what I'm saying? And will always work in this shitty sport. Cardio, can wrestle a little bit, good chin. That's going to take you to title in this shit. So I get it, but I do think Strickland's just he's the better fighter, the better stand-up dude. I'm not even sure like he gets taken down a bunch in this fight. His style of fighting kind of keeps distance and shit a lot. I don't think DDP's necessarily got good takedowns. He just falls in this shit, which I mean it works sometimes, but yeah, Strickland at plus 175. I just think you got to take that price in a close fight.
Yeah, unlike the two of you, I scored the first one for DDP, 2-3-4, I believe. I mean, there were 2 or 3 very clear rounds in that fight. 1 and 5 for Strickland, 4 for DDP, and then it came down to what you scored in 2 and 3. I believe I scored it for DDP. But really, we saw last time, this is a coin flip. DDP needs the big moments. So the default is kind of that Strickland is going to win the volume game. We saw that. And if DDP doesn't get big takedowns and have a lot of top control, which I don't think he's going to do, he didn't do last time. Strickland's defensive rest, like Strickland is actually a very underrated grappler. When he first was coming up, he was a grappler before he was a striker. And did very well with that game, and has sort of evolved or devolved over time to be more boring for us to watch. But I think that style and sort of that plodding nature gives DDP trouble because there's not a lot of openings there that he can take advantage of. So I think this is a 50-50 fight. I really do. And the fact is, it's not lined like a 50-50 fight. So I don't see why this has gone from an even fight last time to DDP being minus 200. Obviously, I know he's retained the belt since then. Strickland had a close fight with Paulo Costa, but Paulo Costa is a whole lot more dangerous on the feet than DDP is, a whole lot better on the feet than DDP is. And Sean made a face that maybe that wasn't the closest fight, or
and I bet Costa
in the world. So I think that might be playing into it a little bit too, where you look on somebody's record and you're like, oh, split decision. He must have not been very good in that fight.
Terrible judging.
But yeah, I think that Strickland being steady, keeping that jab in his face, walking him down, avoiding enough of the takedowns or getting up quickly like he did the first time around when they fought, I think that he's going to pile it up. And when dudes usually hit that wall against DDP and fall apart, I don't think that happens to Strickland in this fight. So Sean Strickland is going to be your
fourth in a row
in 2025. And as DDP's shirt said at the press conference today, Trump prefers champions. So you're going to see Sean Strickland all over the White House over the coming weeks, because he's going to take this one. And Sean Strickland, grossest consensus bet.
Ugh.
in the history.
175.
That's not true. That's not true at all. We've had some real bad ones over the years. But Sean Strickland plus 175, consensus bet of the week.
4 in a row.
We'll see if it continues on into February, the worst month of the year. Rob, appreciate you for joining us. Ozzy,
yes, sir.
Bounced, but thank you, sir. Enjoy the fight. I know you're going to be there live. Anybody else that was listening, appreciate you. That's going to do it for this week. Do we have
Hobo
coming up next week?
Oh yeah, we're going for like 2 months straight now, or something like that.
Oh, just
Hobo versus the Crystal Man.
Okay, I mean that's at least as interesting as DDP and Strickland.
Top of the card's actually not bad.
Co-main's good too. Kato versus Yusuf Zalal.
Then Bob Fiend against Sadikov. Like top 3 fights should be pretty fun. What else is on here? Oh my goodness, Rodolfo against Petrovsky. Holy shit. That's gonna be fucking amazing, bro.
They're gonna need the defibrillator fucking on ready to go on that one.
already see a fatty's opportunity. Man, we're looking good.
You think they're gonna have the after that Kimbo Houston Alexander fight, they have to have the defibrillators cage side at every fight? You think they're gonna have those for Vieira and Petrovsky?
Fucking better. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun. Sure. We'll talk about that next week. We'll recap this card. We've got the superb Owl. Wesley, pick. Very quick.
Casey, 3-peat.
Sean?
Man, that's what I'm going with too.
Eagles.
Get out of here.